This is ego utilitarianism. This video is going to be about a recent debate I had with Stefan Molyneux. I was supposed to debate him about the subjective theory of value and why I rejected it, but it turned into a debate about one of my new ideas that I was hammering out about subjective being a subset of objective when the common thought is that they're mutually exclusive. So let me set up. So that's a setup of this clip here. At this point, I brought up the idea. Steph was kind of skeptical, to say the least, and so he's trying to bring up points against. And let's just let the video do the talking.
I mean, that's why I say if you were to just suspend like the fallacy that they're mutually exclusive and actually put it as a subset, everything starts to make sense. But we are kind of straying.
You mean if I accept your argument, then your argument makes sense? Well, of course it does. Absolutely, I fully agree with you that if I accept your argument makes sense. Unfortunately, that's just not how arguments work.
Well, that's how definition works. All definition is internal, right? It's an internal adoption of how you refer to objects in reality, so that you just can so your brain can make sense of it.
Oh, so you're saying if I accept your definition, then
all definitions are arbitrary. You agree with that?
All definitions are arbitrary?
Yes. The dictionary is just a proposal of
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's just, you and I could not have, and maybe it's because of the way you use language that you feel that way, but we couldn't have any kind of conversation if all language was arbitrary.
But we've implicitly agreed to use the English language, but to the degree of technicality for this debate.
Are you saying that in English, the arbitrariness of language means that one day I can refer to a tree as a tree, and the next day a tree can be a blowjob?
No. I mean, for instance, you gave, if you were to rewind the tape and listen to your definition of subjective, you've added to the definition. That's not what you'd find in the dictionary. And it'd probably be different. It'd be different in a philosophy dictionary.
Okay, let's go to the dictionary. Subjective, existing in the mind, belonging to the thinking subject rather than.
So, anyways, at this point, I may have accidentally allowed him to refer to a specific source, dictionary.com, and he's a little sure about he takes it for granted that it's correct, and you'll see later here in this clip, I have a hunch that that you'd have to still verify. I mean, it's incumbent upon the person who's using these definitions to verify that they're logically consistent, and so you'll see that here.
On the case, which you didn't do.
That's what I'm doing at this point, right?
No, now you're stuck in the Wolf-Hamill thing, which you still haven't addressed.
I think I did. Well, I thought I did. Well, again, the logic part is compulsory. The definition part is arbitrary all the time. Anytime we work with, I have had my training in math, so I know the importance of definition and the logical structure of your conclusions. Right. I know definitions are arbitrary. You can it's just labels. They're just an internal mechanism for you to label something. That's all it is. Whether now that I see a dictionary definition, if I knew this by memorization, just by rote memory, I would have said, okay, I'm going to redefine it as such. I didn't see so I'm kind of thinking too much, like as far as object, because you'd have to look at that too and make sure that they were mutually exclusive, right? So that's the thing. It might not be logically consistent with the dictionary. You're assuming that the dictionary definition is going to be logically consistent, right? It would be logically consistent if objective, the definition for objective would actually show that subjective is mutually exclusive from objective, not just from declaration, right? And I don't want to get into what the dictionary says. I didn't. That's not the purpose that's not the goal of an honest debate, right?
Okay, so at that point, I had a hunch, right? I had a hunch that, well, I still told him it was incumbent upon him if he wanted me to use that, the dictionary definitions, that you'd have to verify, because you'd have to verify their logical consistency. Because when you look up, when he looked up the term subjective, right, it states this: existing in a mind belonging to the thinking subject rather than to the object of thought. So that's fine. Well, actually, this part's not fine. The rather than and opposed to objective. So there's an added declaration here that it's mutually exclusive with objective. I don't think anyone would object to this translating into mutually exclusive, right? Something cannot be both subjective and objective at the same time, since they're opposed. And that's what mutually exclusive means. Something cannot be both at the same time if these two sets are mutually exclusive. So I had a hunch that, you still have to verify it if you're going to like refer to it. The problem is, in the middle of a debate where someone's pounding you in the ground, and he challenged me to actually to do it, I think, later on in the video. Let's see.
You gotta make a point.
Something. That's all it is. Whether now that I see a dictionary definition, if I knew this by memorization, just by rote memory, I would have said, okay, I'm going to redefine it as such. I didn't see like.
Okay, so here's my hunch.
But so I'm kind of thinking too much, like as far as object, because you'd have to look at that too and make sure that they were mutually exclusive, right? So that's the thing. It might not be logically consistent with the dictionary. You're assuming that the dictionary definition is going to be logically consistent, right? It would be logically consistent if objective, the definition for objective would actually show that subjective is mutually exclusive from objective, not just from declaration, right? And I don't want to get into what the dictionary says. I didn't. That's not the purpose that's not the goal of an honest debate, right? The debate shouldn't be hung up on a definition, right? It should be arbitrarily adopted by whoever has logical integrity. I can adopt whatever definition you want. The consequences, if it doesn't make sense, then I can call your definition set. It's like called like proof by contradiction. You can define contradictory terms, and if they contradict, something's wrong with your definition set, and then you've essentially proven them quote unquote wrong. So if you were to suspend the dictionary, the online dictionary definition, adopt mine for a second, and see if you can force me to a contradiction, then you've won the game. You see, I'm playing by the same game you want to play, but you're not. You don't want to set the starting pieces. Right? You don't want to choose who's what piece in Monopoly. It's like the arbitrary part. Like